What's up, everybody? This is Josh from Music Lesson here, and I've got a great video for you today. Today we're going to talk about vibrato on the violin. Let's do it. All right, everybody, I've got a lot of requests from my students here locally and from you folks online. Finally getting down to do it. We're going to talk about vibrato. There's two things, and depending on what school of thought you come from for vibrato, you can do hand vibrato, you can do wrist vibrato. Some people call it arm vibrato instead of hand vibrato. It depends on what school you come from. It depends on what studio you come from. I call it wrist and arm vibrato. So that's just me. Take that with a grain of salt. You will have people teaching you different terminology for something like this. Okay, so keep that in mind. But the gist of it is the same. Basically, you can play vibrato from your wrist, okay, and which I would say would be something like this, okay? Or you can play it from your arm, which is like this, okay? Now, when I say wrist and arm, what I mean is what creates the vibrato, okay? What is the thing that pushes or the thing that instigates the vibrato itself? What you have to remember is that vibrato does not take place in a vacuum. There's several small movements that operate for vibrato. Okay, so you have the thing that creates or pushes or moves the vibrato, right, which would be either the arm or the wrist, okay? Then, and here's the probably arguably just as important as that, is the fact that there's only one part of your finger that is critically important to the vibrato. And that's not to say that there's other areas and other things that are important too, but it's literally that first knuckle of your finger. That first knuckle of your finger right there is, to me, arguably the most important thing about vibrato next to where you're actually starting the vibrato from, your arm or your wrist, okay? I'm going to show you what I mean by that. The next thing is, the next thing that's most important for vibrato is tips of the fingers. I highly encourage you to play as close to the tips of the fingers as you can when you start your vibrato, when you initiate your vibrato. Now, this goes back to technique in general, okay? So some of you are going to have teachers that do not advocate for you to place your fingers on the tips as high up on the tips as possible. Some of you do, okay? So remember, if you have a private teacher, default to them, okay? But I'm going to give you my way of teaching and doing vibrato, okay? I also think it actually makes it easier to play the violin in general in the long run, okay? So I'll make mention of that a little bit here at the end. But let me just play something for you here, and I'll show you my vibrato, okay? So I'm just going to play a B on the A string, first finger on the A string, okay? So here we go. Okay, now that's a super slow vibrato. Let me play it how it would be usable. I'll do wrist vibrato first. Okay, I wanted to give you a multi-angle view of that. Now I'm going to do arm vibrato. Ready? Now I'm going to do it how I would use it. Now you don't have to use it as strong as I just did, but normally when I'm playing, I would say that I probably use arm vibrato for much more vibrant, loud, strong, you may hear dogs barking, sorry, loud, vibrant music than I do wrist vibrato. Wrist vibrato is a little more subtle for me, okay? Small movements, quieter notes, quieter songs, so on and so forth. That's kind of what I use wrist vibrato for. Arm vibrato is something that's much more prominent, much stronger, much louder for me, okay, for my playing, than wrist vibrato. Now, here's the thing though, whether you use wrist or arm vibrato, it doesn't matter because the first finger, well, not necessarily the first finger, could be first, second, or third, or fourth finger. The first knuckle on that finger is what I call flattening out. So let me turn around here and let me give an example. We're going to start with just wrist vibrato. Going to make it very easy to see how this works. Okay, get on the tip. This requires short fingernails, by the way. Short fingernails are important for vibrato, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to come over here. Now watch my first finger, okay? This is a B on the A string, okay? And we're just going to go. Okay, that is the movement of vibrato right there. Okay, it's not a side-to-side movement. It's not a shaky movement. That's the movement of vibrato. That's why I say start on the tip of your finger as best you can, and that's why this does require your fingernails to be clipped or cut. Okay, make sure that your fingernails are clipped or cut, because if they're not, this is going to severely hinder your ability to do very beautiful, very useful, and that's a good word for this actually, useful vibrato. Okay, now. You do this on every single finger. Now, as you get to the third and fourth, they're not as, like, I don't know, I guess you could say horizontally straight back with their movements, right? The third gets a little bit to the side, and the fourth gets a little bit to the side as well. Okay, so if you imagine that your a string is attached to your hand, right, you're going to pull the hand this way. Okay, second finger is going to pull the hand this way. Okay, third finger is going to start going a little bit angled. Okay. It might actually pull maybe a little bit this way, right? Fourth finger, even more, pull a little bit this way, okay? So keep that in mind. That's kind of how the fingers and the angle and direction as pertaining to the scroll are going to look. First and second finger, you can pull pretty much straight back towards the scroll. And I mean like straight back. Don't let it pull down. Don't let it pull up. Let it pull straight back, okay, towards the scroll, all right? And that's the direction that I would suggest doing it for vibrato for the most part, okay? All right, now, the next thing I'm going to do is let's actually walk through this and let's actually practice doing some vibrato, okay? So what I want you to do is I'm going to turn sideways again. I want you to follow me if you can. And what I would tell you to do is don't even use your bow for right now, okay? Wait, hold on. Let me get, there we go. Don't even use your bow for right now. Put that first finger down. Now, notice, this is important. My thumb's not going to be up here. You can do this with vibrato, okay? I don't like it, though. I don't like to let this part of my hand touch the neck at any point. So I like my vibrato, my thumb to be nice and low on my vibrato, during my vibrato, okay? So put the finger down right here, pull it back, come forward. Pull it back, come forward. Now, this first knuckle has to be super duper relaxed. Very relaxed, as relaxed as you can possibly make it, okay? Then you want to roll back from the tip, then back to the tip. Roll away from the tip, then roll to the tip. Roll away from the tip, roll to the tip. Roll away from the tip, roll to the tip. Away from, to. Okay? All right, very slowly, extremely slowly. And I would even say don't even really press down hard on the string. Just enough to keep your spot on the violin, spot on the neck, okay? Don't press down too terribly hard. If you press down too hard, it's going to be difficult to make the knuckle flatten out in the first place. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you don't press hard enough, you're going to just slide across the string. Just going to slide up and down the string, and we don't want that either, okay? So again, the most important things are playing on the tip of the finger, okay? Letting the knuckle flatten out, then coming back to the tip, okay? Flatten that first knuckle out, then come to the tip. So you kind of go from like I don't know, almost like a vertical straight up and down position to a almost making a triangle or slope position, right, with your finger. Okay, and this applies to any finger. It doesn't really matter which one. Right, I'm going to modify my hand so that you can see this. Then third finger is going to do the same thing. Okay, and then fourth finger. Now, fourth finger, I have to go on the tip of my fourth finger. Some people can go right here and do vibrato. Oh, it's so, I don't know why. It's just tough for me to do that. I've got to go to the tip and back and forth like this. I don't know why, but I have to. Now, some things that will affect your ability to do vibrato, period, are how high your strings are off of your violin. You want to have good low action if you can, okay? You want to have good low action. You don't want to have something too high. You don't, because that creates an extra layer of tension and stiffness on the strings that your fingers have to press down to. Plus, if the strings are too high and you have to press down too far, what it'll actually do is actually change the pitch of your violin at that point in the string, okay? Not pitch of the violin, pitch of your string, okay? At that location in your string. And that can make your note go sharp, okay? And that's a problem that we don't want to deal with, all right? So a good setup is what they call it. Good setup on your violin, making sure that the bridge is not too tall, is going to be very important to your ability to play vibrato in the first place, okay? As far as the bow goes, it's kind of a separate deal for vibrato playing, okay? Although obviously involved, clearly, right? But you can do vibrato with just pizzicato, right? And it really works the better with the thickest strings, right? The thicker the string is, the better the vibrato is going to work when you pizzicato it. Okay, so keep that in mind too. Those are the basics of it, of vibrato. Now, you don't want to be holding on so tight that you shake your violin, okay? You don't want to be holding on so loose that you just, slide up and down the neck of your violin, okay? So that's the main thing. So one more time, let me give you a demonstration here before we end the video, okay? So... Okay, that's more the wrist vibrato. Let me do some arm. Okay. Okay, you can get kind of like really, strong, meaty, nasty with that, and nasty in a good way, okay, with that vibrato right there. So, arm vibrato specifically. Now, if you're playing something very light, you know. Okay, now, the faster your vibrato gets, the less that knuckle is going to flatten out, okay? Because the faster your vibrato, generally speaking, there's definitely, like, professional violinists can get very fast vibrato that's also very wide, okay? So, like, here's a wide vibrato. Okay, here's a not wide vibrato. Still vibrato. That pitch bends. You start at one location, you start at one pitch, you bend flat of that pitch, come back up to pitch, okay? Professional violinists will be able to get wide vibrato very fast. But generally speaking, due to physics, there is a cap on that, to the point where to go any faster, you have to make the vibrato not as wide, right? So that you have less movement in between, so that you can actually go faster, okay, in the long run. That may or may not affect you in actual performance, so just keep that in mind. But that's just a tip for you in the future. All right, I hope this helped you out. Let me know if it does. I'd be happy to make more vibrato videos for everybody, to help everybody understand how it works, what it does, why we do it, when we do it, how wide to do it at certain points. Just remember, don't let your finger slide across the string. That's not vibrato, okay? That's a slide, right? But that's kind of what you're looking at there. And then in addition to that, don't press down so hard that you can't move your finger. All right, because that's going to be problematic too for your vibrato. All right? All right, thank you very much. I hope this video helped you guys. Remember that music is magic. If this did help you, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell button so you get some notifications. Visit us on the Facebook page at MusiLesson, and also visit us on the website at www.musilesson.com. And I look forward to seeing everybody. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.